Supper too, though thou knowest it not. Come, will you go?
I'll wait upon your lordship.
Scene 3, Haunted Castle. Enter Ratcliffe with halberds, carrying Rivers, Grey, and Bawn to death.
Come forth, bring forth the prisoners. Sir Richard Radcliffe, let me tell thee this. Today shalt thou behold the subject die for truth, for duty, for loyalty.
God keep the prince from all the pack of you, and not you are damned bloodsuckers.
You live that shall cry woe for this hereafter.
Dispatch! The limit of your lives is out. Oh, Pomfret, Pomfret, oh, thou bloody prison, fatal and ominous to noble peers. Within the guilty closure of thy walls, Richard the Second here was hacked to death. And for more slander to thy dismal seat, we give thee up our guiltless blood to drink.
Now Margaret's curse is fallen upon our heads for standing by when Richard stabbed her son.
Then cursed she Hastings, then cursed she Buckingham, then cursed she Richard. Oh, remember, God, to hear her prayers for them, as now for us, and for my sister and her princely sons. Be satisfied, dear God, with our true blood, which, as thou knowest, unjustly must be spilt. Make haste, the hour of death is expiate. Come, Grey, come. Vaughan, let us all embrace and take our leave until we meet in heaven.
Bum bum. Scene 4, the Tower of London. Enter Buckingham, Derby, Hastings, the Bishop of Ely, Ratcliffe, Lovell, and others, and take their seats at a table.
My lords, at once. The cause where we are met is to determine of the coronation. In God's name, speak. When is the royal day?
Are all things fitting for that royal time?
It is, and wants but nomination.
Tomorrow then, I judge a happy day. Who knows the Lord Protector's mind herein? Who is most inward with the royal duke? Your Grace, I think, should soonest know his mind. Who, I? My lord, I know we know each other's face, but for our hearts, he knows no more of mine than I of yours, nor I no more of his than you of mine. Lord Hastings, you and he are near in love.
I thank his grace. I know he loves me well, but for his purpose in the coronation, I've not sounded him, or he delivered his gracious pleasure any way therein. But you, my noble lords, may name the time, and in the Duke's behalf I'll give my voice, which I presume will take in gentle part.
Now in good time, here comes the Duke himself.
My noble lords and cousins all, good morrow. I've been a long sleeper, but I hope my absence doth neglect no great designs, which by my presence might have been concluded.
Had you not come upon your cue, my lord, William Lord Hastings had pronounced your part, your voice, for crowning of the king.
Then, my Lord Hastings, no man might be bolder. His lordship knows me well, and loves me well.
I thank your grace.
My Lord of Ely.
My lord.
When I was last in Holborn, I saw good strawberries in your garden there. I do beseech you send for some of them.
Marry and will, my lord, with all my heart.
Cousin of Buckingham, a word with you. Shakespeare hath sounded hasting in our business, and finds the testy gentleman so hot, that he will lose his head ere give consent. His master's son, as worshipful as he terms it, shall lose the royalty of England's throne.
Withdraw you hence, my lord. I'll follow you.
We have not yet set down this day of triumph. Tomorrow, in mine opinion, is too sudden, for I myself am not so well provided, as else I would be, were the day prolonged.
Where is my lord protector? I've sent for these strawberries.
Grace looks cheerfully and smooth today. There's some conceit or other likes him well, when he doth bid good morrow with such a spirit. I think there's never a man in Christendom that can less hide his love or hate than he, for by his face straight shall you know his heart.
What of his heart perceive you in his face by any likelihood he showed today?
Marry, that with no man here he is offended, for were he had shown it in his looks.
I pray God he be not, I say.
I pray you all, tell me what they deserve, that do conspire my death with devilish plots of damned witchcraft, and that have prevailed upon my body with their hellish charms.
The tender love I bear your grace, my lord, makes me most forward in this noble presence to doom the offenders. Whosoever they be, I say, my lord, they have deserved death.
Then be your eyes the witness of this ill. See how I am bewitched? Behold, mine arm is like a blasted sapling, withered up. This is Edward's wife, that monstrous witch, consorted with that harlot strumpet shore, that by their witchcraft thus have mocked me.
If they have done this thing, my gracious lord,
And if I, thou protector of his damned strumpet, tellest thou me of ifs, thou art a traitor, off with his head. Now, by St. Paul I swear, I will not dine till I see the same. Lovell and Ratcliffe, look that it be done. The rest that love me, rise and follow me.
woe, woe for England. Not a whit for me, for I, too fond, might have prevented this. Stanley did dream the boar did raise his helm. I disdained it, and did scorn to fly. 3 times today my footcloth horse did stumble and startled when he looked upon the tower, as loath to bear me to the slaughterhouse. Oh, now I want the priest that spake to me. I now repent I told the pursuivant, as toward triumphing at mine enemies, how they at Pomfret bloodily were butchered, and I myself secure in grace and favor. Oh, Margaret, Margaret, now thy heavy curse is lighted on poor Hastings' wretched head.
Dispatch, my lord, the Duke would be at dinner. Make short shrift, he longs to see your head.
Oh, momentary grace of mortal men, which we more hunt for than the grace of God, who builds his hope in air of your good looks, lives like a drunken sailor on a mast, ready with every nod to tumble down into the fatal bowels of the deep.
Come, dispatch, 'tis bootless to exclaim.
Oh, bloody Richard, miserable England, I prophesy the fearfulest time to thee that ever wretched age hath looked upon. Come, lead me to the block, bear him my head. They smile at me that shortly shall be dead.
Scene 5, the Tower Walls. Enter Gloucester and Buckingham in rotten armor, marvelous ill-favored.
Ah, come, cousin, canst thou quake and change thy color, murder thy breath in the middle of a word, and then begin again and stop again, as if thou were distraught and mad with terror?
I can counterfeit the deep tragedian, speak and look back and try on every side, and tremble at wagging of a straw, intending deep suspicion, ghastly looks, are at my service like enforced smiles, and both are ready in their offices at any time to grace my stratagems. But what is Kate begone?
He is, and see, he brings the mayor along.
Lord Mayor!
Look to the drawbridge there.
Ah! A drum! Crum, bum.
Gates be o'erlook the walls.
Lord Mayor, the reason we have sent.
Look back, defend thee, here our enemies.
God and our innocency defend and guard us.
Be patient, they are friends, Ratcliffe and Lovell.
Here is the head of that ignoble traitor, the dangerous and unsuspected Hastings.
Yikes. Oh, so dear I love the man, that I must weep. I took him for the plainest, harmless creature that breathed upon this earth, a Christian. Made in my book, wherein my soul recorded the history of all her secret thoughts. So smooth he daubed his vice with show of virtue, that his apparent open guilt omitted. I mean, his conversation with Shore's wife. He lived from all attainder of suspect.
Well, he was the covertest sheltered traitor that ever lived. Would you imagine or almost believe, were it not that by great preservation we live to tell it, a subtle traitor this day had plotted in the council house to murder me and my good lord of Gloucester.
What? Had he so?
What? Think you we are Turks or infidels? Or that we would, against the form of law, proceed thus rashly to the villain's death? Or that the extreme peril of the case, the peace of England and her person's safety, enforced us to this execution?
Now, fair befall you. He deserved his death, and you, my good lords, both have well proceeded to warn false traitors from the like attempts. I never looked for better at his hands, after he once fell in with Mistress Shore.
Yet now we determined he should die, until your lordship came to see his death, which now the loving haste of these our friends, somewhat against our meaning, have prevented. Because, my lord, we would have had your head, the traitor speak and timorously confess the manner and the purpose of his treason, that you might well have signified the same unto the citizens, who haply may misconstrue us in him and wail his death.
But, my good lord, your grace's word shall serve, as well as I had seen and heard him speak, and doubt you not, right noble princes both, but I'll acquaint our duteous citizens with all your just proceedings in this cause.
And to that end we wished your lordship here to avoid the carping censures of the world.
But since you come too late of our intents, yet witness what you hear, we did intend. And so, my good Lord Mayor, we bid farewell.
Go after cousin Buckingham, the mayor towards Guildhall, hies him in all post. There at your meet's advantage of the time, infer the bastardy of Edward's children. Tell them how Edward put to death the citizen, only for saying he would make his son heir to the crown, meaning indeed his house, which by the sign thereof was termed so. Moreover, urge his hateful luxury and bestial appetite in change of lust, which stretch to their servants' daughters, wives, even where his lustful eyes or savage heart, without control, listed to make his prey. Nay, for a need thus far come near my person, tell them, when that my mother went with child of that unsatiate Edward, noble York, my princely father, then had wars in France, and by just computation of the time, found that the issue was not his begot, which well appeared in his lineaments, being nothing like the noble Duke my father, but touch despairingly as 'twere far off. Because you know, my lord, my mother lives.
Fear not, my lord, I'll play the orator, as if the golden fee for which I plead were for myself. And so, my lord, adieu.
If you thrive well, bring them to Banyard Castle, where you shall find me well accompanied with reverend fathers and well-learned bishops.
I go, and towards 3 or 4 o'clock, look for the news that the Guildhall affords.
Go, Level, with all speed to Dr. Shaw. Go thou to Friar Pinker. Bid them both meet me within this hour at Banyard Castle. Now will I in to take some privy order to draw the brats and clerics out of sight, to give notice that no manner of person at any time have recourse unto the princes.
We'll skip the next scene. It is the scrivener telling us about the 2 deaths and how shocked everyone should be. So we go to Act 3, Scene 7.
Scene 7, Baynard's castle, enter Gloucester and Buckingham at several doors.
Now, my lord, what say the citizens?
Now, by the holy mother of our Lord, the citizens come and speak not a word.
Touched you the bastardy of Edward's children?
I did. With his contract with Lady Lucy, and his contract by deputy in France, the insatiate greediness of his desires, and his enforcement of the city wives, his tyranny for trifles, his own bastardy as being got, your father then in France, his resemblance being not like the Duke, withal I did infer your lineaments, being the right idea of your father, both in your form and nobleness of mind, laid open all your victories in Scotland, your discipline in war, wisdom in peace, your bounty, virtue, fair humility, indeed left nothing fitting for the purpose untouched, or slightly handled in discourse, and when mine oratory grew to an end, I bid them that did love their country's good, cry, God save Richard, England's royal king.
And did they so?
No, so God help me, they spake not a word, but like dumb statues or breathing stones, gazed on one another and looked deadly pale, which when I saw, I reprehended them, asked the mayor what meant this wilful silence. His answer was, the people were not wont to be spoke to but by the recorder. And then he was urged to tell my tale again. Thus saith the Duke, and thus hath the Duke inferred, but nothing spake in warrant from himself. And when he had done, some followers of mine own, at the lower end of the hall, hurled up their caps, and some 10 voices cried, God save King Richard! And thus I took the vantage of those few. Thanks, gentle citizens and friends, quoth I. This general applause and loving shout argues your wisdoms and your love to Richard. And even here brake off and came away.
What tongueless blocks were they? Would not they speak?
No, by my troth, my lord.
Will not the mayor then and his brethren come?
The mayor is here at hand, and intends some seer, be not you spoke with, but by mighty suit. And look you, get a prayer book in your hand, and stand betwixt 2 churchmen, good my lord, for on that ground I'll build a holy descant, and be not easily won to our request. Play the maid's part, still answer nay, and take it.
I go. And if you plead as well for them as I can say nay to thee for myself, no doubt will bring it to a happy issue.
Go up to the deeds. The Lord Mayor knocks. Welcome, my lord. I dance attendance here. I think the Duke will not be spoke withal. Oh, here comes the servant now. Catesby, what says he?
He doth entreat your grace, my noble lord, to visit him tomorrow or next day. He is within with two right reverend fathers, divinely bent to meditation, and in no worldly suits would he be moved to draw him from his holy exercise.
Return, good Catesby, to thy lord again. Tell him, myself, the mayor, and citizens, in deep designs and matters of great moment, no less importing than our general good, are come to have some conference with his grace.
I'll signify so much unto him straight.
My lord, this prince is not an Edward. He is not lolling on a lewd daybed, but on his knees at meditation, not dallying with a brace of courtesans, but meditating with two deep divines, not sleeping to engross his idle body, but praying to enrich his watchful soul. Happy were England, would this gracious prince take on himself the sovereignty thereof. But sure, I fear, we shall ne'er win him to it.
Marry, God forbid his grace should say us nay.
I fear he will. How now, Catesby, what says your lord?
He wonders to what end you have assembled such troops of citizens to come to him. His grace not being warned thereof before, he fears, my lord, you mean no good to him.
Sorry I am, my noble cousin should suspect me, that I mean no good to him. By heaven, I come in perfect love to him, and so once more return and tell his grace. When holy and devout religious men are at their beads, 'tis hard to draw them thence. So sweet is zealous contemplation.
See, where he stands between two clergymen.
Two props of virtue for a Christian prince, to stay him from the fall of fancy. And see, a book of prayer in his hand, true ornaments to no holy man. Famous Plantagenet, most gracious prince, lend favorable ears to our request, and pardon us the interruption of thy devotion and right Christian zeal.
My lord, there needs no such apology. I rather do beseech your pardon me, who, earnest in the service of my God, neglects the visitation of my friends. But leaving this, what is your grace's pleasure?
Even that, I hope, which pleaseth God above, and all good men of this ungoverned isle.
I do suspect I have done some offense that seems disgracious in the city's eyes, and that you come to reprehend my ignorance.
You have, my lord, would I might please your grace, at our entreaties, to amend that fault.
Else wherefore breathe I in a Christian land?
Then no, it is your fault that you resign the supreme seat, the throne majestical, the sceptered office of your ancestors, your state of fortune and your due of birth, the lineal glory of your royal house, to the corruption of a blemished stock, whilst in the mildness of your sleepy thought, which here we awaken to our country's good, this noble isle doth want her proper limb, her face defaced with scars of infamy, her royal stock graft with ignoble plants, and almost shouldered in the swallowing gulf of blind forgetfulness and dark oblivion, which, to recure, we heartily solicit your gracious self to take on you the charge and kingly government of your land, not as protector, steward, substitute, or lowly factor for another's gain, but as successively from blood to blood your right of birth, your empery, your own for this, consorted with the citizens, your very worshipful and loving friends, and by their vehement instigations in this just suit, come I to move your grace.
I know not whether to depart in silence, or bitterly to speak in your reproof. Best fittest might agree on your condition. If not to answer, you might haply think tongue-tied ambition, not replying, yielded to bear the golden yoke of sovereignty, which fondly you would here impose on me. If to reprove you for this suit of yours, so seasoned with your faithful love to me, then on the other side I checked my friends. Therefore to speak and to avoid the first, and then in speaking not to incur the last, definitively thus I answer you. Your love deserves my thanks, but my desert unmeritable shuns your high request. First, if all obstacles were cut away, and that my path were even to the crown, as my right revenue and due by birth, yet so much is my poverty of spirit, so mighty and so many my defects, as I had rather hide me from my greatness, being a bark to brook no mighty sea, than in my greatness covet to be hid, and in the vapors of my glory smothered. But God be thanked, there's no need of me, and much I need to help you. If need were, the royal tree hath left us royal fruit, which, mellowed by the stealing hours of time, will well become the seat of majesty, and make no doubt us happy by his reign. On him I lay what you would lay on me, the right and fortune of his happy stars, which God defend that I should wring from him.
My lord, this argues conscience in your grace, but the respects thereof are nice and trivial, all circumstances well considered. You say that Edward is your brother's son. We say, we too, but not by Edward's wife. For first he was contract to Lady Lucy. Your mother lives a witness to that vow, and afterward by substitute betrothed to Bona, sister to the King of France. These both put by a poor petitioner, a care-crazed mother of many children, a beauty waning and distressed widow, even in the afternoon of her best days, made prize and purchase of his lustful eye, seduced the pitch and height of all his thoughts, to base declension and loathed bigamy. By her, in his unlawful bed, he got this Edward, whom our manners term the prig. More bitterly could I expostulate, save that, for reverence to some alive, I give a sparing limit to my tongue. Then, good my lord, take to your royal self this proffered benefit of dignity, if none to bless us, and the land withal, yet to draw forth your noble ancestry from the corruption of abusing times, unto a lineal true derived court.
Do, good my lord, your citizens entreat you.
Refuse not, mighty lord, this proffered love.
Oh, make them joyful, grant their lawful suit.
Alas, why would you heap these cares on me? I am unfit for state and majesty. I do beseech you, take it not amiss. I cannot nor I will not yield to you.
If you refuse it, as in love and steel, loath to depose the child, your brother's son, as well we know your tenderness of heart and gentle, kind, effeminate remorse, which we have noted in you with your kin, and eagerly indeed to all estates. Yet, whether you accept our suit or no, your brother's son shall never reign our king, but we will plant some other in the throne. to the disgrace and downfall of your house. And in this resolution here we leave you. Come, citizens, zounds, I'll entreat no more.
Oh, do not swear, my lord of Buckingham.
Call them again, sweet prince, call them again. Accept their suit. If you deny them, all the land will rue it.
Would you enforce me to a world of care? Well, call them again. I am not made of stone, but penetrable to yours. Kind entreats, albeit against my conscience and my soul. Cousin Buckingham, and your sage, great man, since you will buckle fortune on my back to bear her burthen, whether I will or no, I must have patience to endure the load. But if black scandal or foul-faced reproach attend the sequel of your imposition, your mere enforcement shall acquaintance me from all the impure blots and stains thereof. For God he knows, and you may partly see, how far I am from the desire thereof.
God bless your grace. We see it, and will say it.
In saying so, you shall but say the truth.
Then I salute you with this kingly title. Long live Richard, England's royal king.
Amen.
Tomorrow, will it please you to be crowned?
Even when you please, since you have it so.
Tomorrow then, we will attend your grace, and so most joyfully we take our leave.
Come, let us to our holy task again. Farewell, good cousins. Farewell, gentle friends.
Excellent.
Adieu. I must depart.
Away.
Thanks
so long.
We knew your
Farewell.
business. We would rather bid you go than stay.
Thanks, Richard.
Good night, noble lords and ladies.
Good night.
See you August.
Knights of angels, sing thee till I die.
Oh my God.
I do.
It's the horse.
And wake
Oh,
up.
horse. I gotta go check on the horse.
You say your line now and we'll be excused.
A horse. My kingdom for a horse.
You'll get it.
A horse, of course. Aloha.
Aloha.
Bye, Richard. Act 4, Scene 1, before the tower. Enter on one side Queen Elizabeth, the Duchess of York and Dorset on the other side, Anne, Duchess of Gloucester, leading Lady Margaret Plantagenet, Clarence's young daughter. Who meets us here, my niece Plantagenet, led in the hand of her kind aunt of Gloucester. Now for my life she's wandering to the tower on pure heart's love to greet the tender princess. Daughter, well met.
God give your grace both a happy and joyful time of day.
As much to you, good sister. Whither away?
No farther than the tower, and as I guess, upon the like devotion as yourselves, to congratulate the gentle prince there.
Kind sister, thanks. We'll enter all together, and in good time. Here the lieutenant comes. Oh, Master Lieutenant, pray you, by your leave, how doth the prince and my young son of York?
Right well, dear madam. By your patience, I may not suffer you to visit them. The king hath straitly charged the contrary.
The king? Who's that?
I cry your mercy. I mean the Lord Protector.
The Lord protect him from that kingly title. Hath he set bounds between their love and me? I am their mother. Who shall bar me from them?
I am their father's mother. I will see them.
Their aunt I'm-in-law, in love their mother. Then bring me to their sights. I will bear thy blame, and take thy office from thee on my brow.
No, madame, no. I may not leave it so. I am bound by oath. Therefore pardon me.
Let me but meet you, ladies, 1 hour hence, and I'll salute your grace of York as mother, and reverend looker-on of two fair queens. Come, madame, you must straight to Westminster, there to be crowned of Richard's royal queen.
Ah, cut my lace asunder, thus that my pent heart may have some scope to beat, or else I swoon with this dead-killing news.
Despiteful tidings, oh, unpleasing news.
Be of good cheer, mother. How fares your grace?
O Dorset, speak not to me, get thee hence. Death and destruction dog thee at thy heels. Thy mother's name is ominous to children. If thou wilt outstrip death, go across the seas, and live with Richmond from the reach of hell. Go hie thee from the slaughter-house, lest thou increase the number of the dead, and make me die the thrall of Margaret's curse, nor mother, wife, nor England's counted queen.
Full of wise care is this your counsel, madame. Take all the swift advantage of the hours. You shall have letters from me to my son to meet you on the way and welcome you. Be not ta'en tardy by unwise delay.
Oh, ill dispersing wind of misery! Oh, my accursed womb, the bed of death! A cockatrice hast thou hatched to the world, whose unavoided eye is murderous.
Come, madame, come. I in all haste was sent.
And I with all unwillingness will go. Oh, would to God that the inclusive verge of golden metal that must round my brow were red hot still to sear me to the brain. Anointed let me be with deadly venom, and die ere man can say God save the Queen.
Go, poor soul. I envy not thy glory. To feed my humor, wish thyself no harm.
No, why, when he that is my husband now came to me as I followed Henry's course, when scarce the blood was well washed from his hands, which issued from my other angel husband, and that dear saint, which then I weeping followed. Oh, when I say I looked on Richard's face, this was my wish. Be thou, quoth I, accursed for making me so young, so old a widow. And when thou wittest, the sorrow haunt thy bed, and be thy wife, if any be so mad, more miserable by the life of thee than thou hast made me by my dear Lord's death. Oh, lo, I can repeat this curse again. Within so small a time, my woman's heart grossly grew captive to his honey words, and proved the subject of mine own soul's curse, which hitherto hath held my eyes from rest, for never yet 1 hour in his bed did I enjoy the golden dew of sleep, but with his timorous dreams was still awake. Besides, he hates me for my father Warwick, and will no doubt shortly be rid of me.
Poor heart, adieu. I pity thy complaining.
Oh, no more than with my soul I mourn for yours.
Farewell, thou wooer welcomer of glory.
Adieu, poor soul that takest thy leave of it.
Go thou to Richmond, and good fortune guide thee. Go thou to Richard, and good angels guard thee. Go thou to sanctuary, and good thoughts possess thee. I to my grave, where peace and rest lie with me. 80-odd years of sorrow have I seen, and each hour's joy wrecked with a week of teen.
Stay yet. Look back with me into the tower. Pity you, ancient stones, those tender babes, whom envy hath immured within your walls. Rough cradle for such little pretty ones. Rude, ragged nurse, old sullen playfellow, for tender princess, use my babies well. So foolish sorrow bids your stones farewell.
Scene 2, London, the palace. Enter King Richard III in pomp, crowned, Buckingham, Catesby, Page, and others.
Stand all apart, cousin of Buckingham.
My gracious sovereign,
Give me thy hand. Thus high by thy advice and thy assistance is King Richard seated. But shall we wear these honors for a day, or shall they last, and we rejoice with them?
still live they, and forever may they last.
Oh, Buckingham, now do I play the touch. Try if thou be current gold indeed. Young Edward lives. Think now what I would say.
Say on, my loving lord.
Why, Buckingham, I say, I would be king.
Why, so you are, my thrice-renowned liege.
Am I king? 'Tis so, but Edward lives.
True, noble prince.
Oh, bitter consequence, that Edward still should live. True, noble prince, cousin, thou wert not wont to be so dull. Shall I be plain? I wish the bastard's dead, and I would have it suddenly performed. What sayest thou? Speak suddenly, be brief.
Your grace may do your pleasure.
Tut, tut, thou art all ice. Thy kindness freezeth. Say, have I thy consent that they shall die?
Give me some breath, some pause, my lord, before I positively herein I will resolve your grace immediately.
The king is angry. See, he gnaws his lip.
I will converse with iron-witted fools and unrespective boys. None are for me that look into me with considerate eyes. High-breaching Buckingham grows circumspect. Boy,
My lord,
knowest thou not any whom corrupting gold would tempt unto a close exploit of death?
My lord, my lord, I know a discontented gentleman whose humble means matched not his haughty mind. Gold were as good as 20 orators, and will, no doubt, tempt him to anything.
What's his name?
His name, my lord, is Tyrell.
I partly know the man. Go, call him hither. The deep revolving witty Buckingham no more shall be the neighbor to my counsel. Hath he so long held out with me untired, and stops he now for breath? How now? What's news with you?
my lord, I hear the Marquis Dorset's fled to Richmond, in those parts beyond the sea where he abides.
Catesby!
My lord,
Catesby! Rumor it abroad that Anne, my wife, is sick and like to die. I will take order of her keeping close. Inquire me out some mean-born gentleman, whom I will marry straight to Clarence's daughter. The boy is foolish, and I fear not him. Look, how thou dreamest! I say again, give out that Anne, my wife, is sick and like to die. About it, for it stands me much upon to stop all hopes whose growth may damage me. I must be married to my brother's daughter, or else my kingdom stands on brittle glass. Murder her brothers and then marry her. Uncertain way of gain. But I am in so far in blood that sin will pluck on sin, tearing falling pity dwells not in his eye. Is thy name Tyrell?
James Tyrell, and your most obedient subject.
Art thou indeed?
Prove me, my gracious lord.
Darest thou resolve to kill a friend of mine?
Please you, but I would rather kill 2 enemies.
Why, there thou hast it. 2 deep enemies, foes to my rest and my sweet sleeps disturbs, are they that I would have thee deal upon. Tyrell, I mean those bastards in the tower.
Let me have open means to come to them, and soon I'll rid you of the fear of them.
Thou singest sweet music. Hark, come hither, Tyrell. Go, by this token rise, and lend thine ear. There is no more but so. Say it is done, and I will love thee and prefer thee too.
I will dispatch it straight.
Shall we hear from thee, Tyrell, ere we sleep?
Aye.
Ye shall, my lord. My lord, I have considered in my mind the late demand that you did sound me in.
Well, let that pass. Dorset is fled to Richmond.
I hear that news, my lord.
Stanley, he is your wife's son. Well, look to it.
My lord, I claim your gift, my due by promise, for which your honor and your faith is owned, the earldom of Hereford and the movables, the which you promised I should possess.
Stanley, look to your wife. If she convey letters to Richmond, you shall answer it.
What says your highness to my just demand?
As I remember, Henry VI did prophesy that Richmond should be king, when Richmond was a little peevish boy. A king, perhaps.
My lord?
Oh, chance the prophet should not at that time have told me, I being by, that I should kill him.
My lord, your promise for the earldom?
Richmond! When last I was at Exeter, the mayor in courtesy showed me the castle, and called it Rogemont, at which name I started, because a bard of Ireland told me once I should not live long after I saw Richmond.
My lord!
Aye, what's o'clock?
I am thus bold to put your grace in mind of what you promised me.
Well, by what's o'clock?
Upon the stroke of 10?
Well, let it strike.
Why let it strike?
Because that, like a jack, thou keepest the stroke betwixt thy begging and my meditation. I am not in the giving of vain today.
Why, then resolve me whether you will or no.
Tut, tut, thou troublest me. I am not in the vein.
Is it even so? Rewards he my true service with such deep contempt made I him king for this. Let me think on Hastings, and be gone to Brecknock while my fearful head is on. Scene 3, the same, enters Tyrell. Tyrell?
Yeah, the king's kids. All right.
Also, the 2 in the tower that he was talking about are the kids.
Yes,
Yep.
that's what I mean. Yeah, didn't mean to confuse it.
No, yeah. No, I was kind of trying to follow. It's good.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Their
Well, there
bones,
goes worse.
their bones historically were actually found later underneath.
How old is King Richard III at this time?
King Richard?
Or Richard III?
The boy is 12. His brother is 9. The two
How old is well, he's King Richard III now, right? Because before he was Gloucester.
Yeah, I think in his 30s, late 30s.